Nope, you're not seeing double. I do have 2 copies of First Empires here, a brand new Civ game that you can play in less than an hour. This copy is open and I'm ready to share with you all the cool mechanics that are in this game. And I also have a shrinked game ready to give away to you. So stay tuned to find out how to enter that giveaway contest so that you can get your very own copy of First Empires. Go! My favorite thing. My favorite thing. Brrr. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm really excited to share with you what First Empires is and what it offers. Now, first thing, I love Civ games. And I like civilization games where you go out and explore and conquer regions and, get tech and all this stuff, upgrades. But I like games that don't take up the entire table. This doesn't. And your entire day. This doesn't. So for me, those are 2 of the coolest features of this game is that it's compact. You can actually play it on a normal sized, regular card table size, and it only takes an hour or so to play. It's a really great compact Civ game, and it doesn't leave people feeling sore. That's another thing. I'll talk a little bit more about that later when I talk about the action and conflict, the area control in this game. But I'm going to talk about all the different features and mechanics in the game, and so I want you to pay attention and really just figure out which one of those sounds the best to you. Like, which one are you most excited to get into? And that's what I want you to put in the description below. That's how you enter the giveaway. It's super easy. Just watch and listen to the mechanics, the gameplay, the aspects, like the one thing that you just think sounds awesome. So I've already mentioned a couple already that I like about the game. The length, 60 minutes or less to play. The size, and the soreness, the lack of soreness when it comes to conflict. Here are some other features. The game works with dice. Players will roll a certain number of dice, and that's how they are going to activate and upgrade their player boards. I love dice rolling. I mean, you've been watching my channel probably. I love dice. And so for me, rolling dice is really fun. And there are plenty of ways to mitigate the dice. You can do it with your reroll action. You can do it with discarding an achievement card. I like that you roll dice, but you don't just take the dice. You can mitigate them. You can change them to what you want or try again. Love that feature. There are the player boards, and these boards are really cool. They are double layered that have the inset for your cube, and your cube just tracks your progress going up a track. There are 5 tracks that tell you what you get to do essentially on your turn. How many dice you get to roll at the start of the round, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is how many rerolls you get in your turn. Yes, definitely boost that blue track. The purple track is how many movement points you get to move across the board with your civilization people. The green track is your achievement card track, and that definitely needs to not be neglected because those achievement cards can be powerful for a variety of reasons. More on that in just a little bit. And lastly, the amount of people in your civilization. You can have up to 10, and if you get those people out, they stay out. I love that. Your people never die. They just retreat back to one region that you have presence in. So that's another thing I really like about this game is it's forgiving. It's not cruel. You don't have to then go and rebuild all your people. No, you still have the same amount of people on the board because you achieved that in your upgrade track. This is your board. This is really cool. Another feature you've got on your board are these little hexes up here, and you can unlock cities. And cities are victory points. They are 1, 2, or 3 points, and you place them out on the map when you reach a threshold on your upgrade track, and those are going to be different for every single player. Cities are great because if you can hold on to them, you get the victory points. If someone comes into a region with one of your cities and takes it over, they get the victory points. So it really entices players to come and attack a region with one of your cities because they get bonus victory points. Now, here's another cool thing about these player boards. Every single one of them is different. It's really, really cool. They have asymmetrical player upgrades, tracks, victory points, bonuses, you name it. They're not so radically different that they are out of balance or out of swing. I played this several times, and every single time I play, the points are grouped really close together. It's a tight game. So no player, I think, is particularly overpowered in one way or the other, but they are all different, and I love that. I love it so much. So let's talk about those achievement cards. That's what's over here. I've got this little stack of achievement cards. Every player gets a color that matches their civilization, and they simply shuffle up their cards at the beginning of the game, and they are dealt a certain number based on that card track, which is the green track. So you shuffle up your cards and you draw one, and every time you upgrade your green track, you're going to move up on the track, and you possibly, most likely early on in the game, will get another card. And these cards tell you to do certain things, and if you do it on your turn, you claim it. And so it's just so simple, it's so straightforward, and it's clear. Now, having cards doesn't mean you have to play them for victory points, though. You could play them to change the face of a die to a sword that helps you conquest on the map, or after that conquest movement phase is over, it allows you to change any die to one of the 5 color faces that match your upgrade bonuses. And if you have a presence in one of those colors, meaning you have people in that space, you get to activate that bonus and bump it up. So cards are really, really versatile. They ask you to do things like capture rival cities. They ask you to occupy other players' starting regions, have at least 2 cities on the board at the same time, occupy islands, raise particular colored tracks, adjacent regions, rolling the dice, rolling 5 dice or 6 dice, and every character has a slightly different achievement deck. It's really cool. It's really cool. I like it. They are not all identical decks of cards, and because you shuffle them, you're going to get them all at different times. So let's take a look at the map. This is a really cool thing because when you look at the map on one side, it's just the 2-player board. And so for a 2-player game, you have just a board that's specific to 2 players, and it shows 2 regions of each of the colors. So there are 10 regions available. 2 of them are islands on the far side, and the whole kind of middle section is all connected in one giant continent. Now, movement is so easy. Remember I talked about movement points. You have a certain number, and you can move any of your people that full amount, divvied up, given to just one, but you have, let's say, 2 movement. You can move 2 people, 1 space each across a white line, or you can move 1 person 2 spaces. And you can move across the ocean. You never end in the ocean, but you move across the ocean, and you can go to any bordering area. So movement in this game is really loose. It's very free. It's very forgiving. And because the map is small, and because there are so many players when you flip it over to the other side, it really allows you to navigate quite easily. And all the different players start off in their regions. And the only thing is that when you have a 5th player, you add the green player, and they have very specific allocations for the civilizations that you use for the amount of players that you have. And so for 5, the Americas isn't used unless you have exactly a 5-player game, and then the rest of it takes place over here on this kind of 2/3 of the board on the 3 to 5-player board. But the regions are clearly marked. They're clearly colored with the upgrades and the dice colors. When a player wants to take over a region, if there's nobody in it, they simply can move 1 meeple in there and they now have control over it. If a player wants to take over a region with someone else in it, they simply have to exceed the meeple presence by 1. Swords count as 1 without having to have another meeple. And so it really allows that flexibility of players to move fewer meeples because they may not have the movement or the actual people presence on the map to take over somebody if they've got 2 or 3 of their own meeples in a particular region. Now, if you exceed them by 1 at least, you move in the people that you took, and those people get displaced. They simply go retreat to a region that they have presence in. And the reason you want presence on the map is because you will match the dice that you rolled that turn with the locations that you actually have control in. And if you can match a die to a location with the same color, you get to move up on the upgrade track. That's how you make your advancements, and that's how you continue to get more and more bonuses throughout the game. So taking over lands is how you get more dice, is how you get more rerolls, is how you get more people and cards and so forth. And so it's really important to make sure that you are trying to upgrade everything just a little bit, and then really start to focus on some of the tracks, because some give you more victory points than others. And you want to make sure you meet that threshold to activate your city, so you can get your city out on the board to score at the end of the game, as long as you have kept it from your opponents who are possibly going to come and raid that city to take those victory points from you. The last thing is just the player track. This just tells you how many turns you have in a game. For 2 to 4 players, it's 8. You flip it over for a 5-player game and you have 7 rounds. That's it. So this game is just so streamlined. It's so clearly balanced and planned out. Everything is just so compact, and I can't tell you how much I like the artwork and the design and the quality of the game. There's a lot here to really, really like. Now, I kind of displayed these cutie boxes because, oh my gosh, every civilization has a box that has all of their meeples, their cubes, and their city tokens. And you can put the cards in there, but there's a space in the inside in the box for the cards, and I kind of like to leave the cards out in a stack, just because, I don't know. Lewis wants to put the cards in the box, but I said no. So they aren't going in there. But they all just go in here, and it's super easy, and these boxes are fantastic. They're beautiful, beautiful. So there's a lot to like here. There were a lot of moving parts. I will say that sometimes the dice don't go your way. I think that's okay. I like the dice because you can mitigate them. And even if you get like not exactly what you want, the dice still work. Like there are still, plan Bs in this game. You kind of have to be a little flexible. The cards, and when you draw them, there's a little bit of luck there as well. But this is a fast, fun, clean, and easy Civ game that takes an hour or less to play, depending on the amount of players. And if anyone's played it before, you might have a slower game that first time, and if you have a lot of players, but it's not going to take you all day. Oh my gosh, it's not going to take you all day at all. So now that you've heard about all the cool features, the mechanics in this game, please let me know in the comments below what you think is the coolest or the most appealing feature that you are most interested in trying, and if this game sounds like a game for you. Just simply posting something that sounds interesting to you is going to get your entry into the giveaway for this brand new Shrinked 2022 First Empires game. All right. Thanks for joining me for this overview and a closer look at all the components and the cool stuff that's in First Empires. I will see you next time. Yay!
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 My favorite thing